Hi everybody, excuse me. Well, before I start this video, I have to put out a trigger warning. So if there are any new viewers who are just cruising channels and land on this one, I just want to let you know up front, proudly, not fair and balanced. Okay, on this channel, it's a given that Trump is a full-blown sociopath with the brain of a dumbbell, the morals of a piranha. Right. So if you don't agree with that assessment, best go back to Fox. Fox, which by the way is owned by Rupert Murdoch, an Australian billionaire, who has described Trump himself as a cretin, an imbecile, but he makes him so much money he overlooks everything. So if there's anyone with lower morals than Donald Trump, it has to be Rupert Murdoch. Yeah. He stands alone, such a destructive man. And this, of course, as we all know, has been a very destructive week. So we're going to look now at the countdown between now, what's the date? 29th. So it's down to just about a week till the midterms. So we're going to look at Donald midterms. Leading into that time, what's in store? Because he's now moved from being a clown to a real force for destruction that can't be denied anymore. So let's have a look. I want to see what's happening for him, but also how the Republicans are looking, how they're looking at this week, the pipe bombs and the synagogue shooting. So we'll start with Trump himself, just a general look-see. Let me put you down here. So Trump in the next week. This is not about the midterms as such. I'll do another reading on him around that, but this is the leading, the next week or so. So, Trump. All right. Well, I think even for Trump, with these swords, even for Trump, it's starting to cut. So this is moving away. This is, I think, is him distancing himself. So even though the pipe bomber had Trump stuff plastered all over his van and everything else, this is trying to move away from that. It's moving away from saying that the synagogue shooting wouldn't have had the death toll if they'd had armed guards. This evasion. So he's going to try all this stuff, which is simply not an adequate response, but that's what he's doing, separating himself to some extent. Strangely, underneath, his heart is pierced, but because he's a genuine narcissist, I'm not just using the term flippantly, it's, oh, how this affects me, Look, this is really bad timing for me. He's incapable of seeing anything else. So underneath this, he's still the confident Trump. He's a Gemini, he flips constantly. This is waiting for his ship to come in. He's still confident that he can pull it off, but at night, not that he sleeps, he's worried about this stuff. But this is his presentation to the world. And that is ruled in turn by his King of Pentacles identity. So this is the greedy king. As long as I come out of it all right, I can hide my broken heart and still look like a winner. So this is the ultimate shallow, kingly Trump. On top he has the Queen of Cups. Now the Queen of Cups, or what I sometimes call the Princess Diana card, it sort of looks like her. I think this is the emotions of the nation about this last week. There's a slightly downcast look to this Queen, and for those learning tarot, it's the only card in the tarot deck where the lid is on the cup of emotions. So people are just keeping a lid on it. There's a real sadness and almost tiredness there, which is not surprising for all the obvious reasons. So let's look now at, I'm going to look at Trump in the West Wing, in the White House, in his working environment. How is he feeling and what is he doing, apart from playing golf and apart from having these stupid Nuremberg rallies? How is he doing this? What's happening for Trump in the workplace, in the White House? Oh, out in the cold, judgment. I'm not surprised. Well, to sum up before I get into the detail, very negative, complex cards followed by him with a smile on his face. Is that not typical Trump? So on top, he gets out in the cold. So he's out in the cold in the sense that Republicans have to be uncomfortable with this, right? So he's progressively isolated. Judgment. He is being judged for this. He's being judged by the nation, and he's been judged in all sorts of ways he hasn't been judged before. There is a lot of conflict in the White House. That's how he runs things. He says that's what he likes, but he only likes it if he's winning. He gets the 9 of Cups, which is everything's okay, and I've got what I want, and it's all right, it's all right. So this is how he's always dealt with his bankruptcies and his failed marriages and everything else in his life. He ignores it and just sits home and counts his pennies, counts his cups, right? So that's how he's dealing with it. All right, now an important question as far as I'm concerned is the GOP. What are the senior GOP people thinking about this week and the violence? How are the GOP handling this week? Look, have they no shame? Is there no red line he can cross? GOP and Trump this week. All right. Oh, they're doing... Oh. God, they are soulless, these people. Absolutely soulless and shameless. Anything that ends with less, they are so lesser than decent people. They're so lesser than public officials. They get the hangman basically doing nothing. That sound familiar? However, the hangman is about looking at things from another angle, but essentially it's literally about hanging around, right? They're prepared to sacrifice themselves on the Trump altar for now. Okay, so that's their overarching position. The rest of their motivations are money. Money, money, and money. So, the mercenary card, as long as we can pull it off, we don't care. The mercenary is the gun for hire, literally, right? So, they will do whatever it takes. Intergenerational money that they will use, intergenerational money that they will protect at all costs, right? It only is about the money. And what are they worried about? Themselves. Have we done enough? They're worried they're going to lose. many, many, many seats at the election. But that's what they're worried about. Have we done enough? Oh dear. Not good enough, guys. Simply not good enough. You're in public office. You're representing 300 million people. And all you can worry about is my financial bottom line intact? I mean, they're truly disgusting. So, my next question is, are the Republicans worried about Trump's morality? Let me sort of get this question straight in my head before I start. So, it's like, what I want to know is, are they divided behind the scenes? Are they beginning to go, look, obviously we have to go with him to the midterms, but after that we have to get rid of him, or not? Where are they at? So I want to know, the GOP, are they starting to think of Trump as a liability? Or not? Is the GOP thinking of him as a liability? Do they think of him as a liability? Here we go. Look, it's hard. There's nothing good to say about these people. They see him as the magician. So they go, look, he's still got people behind him. He can make things happen. We'll stick with him for now. You know, he's the Teflon Don. So that's the overriding thing about it. The judgment of the American people, they are worried. Well, so they should be, and let's hope they've got a good cause to be worried, viewers. They are worried. But that's because on that level they're political animals and want to just get the numbers. So they are worried about that. These two cards are interesting side by side. You have the Page of Swords, which is the spy, and hidden agendas. So I think that behind the scenes in the Republican camp, there's starting to be considerable tensions. All right, I'm going to leave it there. And my condolences go out to the whole of America. This week has been simply frightful. So lots of love and blessings, and I'll be in touch real soon. Bye.